one of those situations where I can't tell without looking to my left, guys. We're here with a not an official rundown. What do we call this? This is like a your lunch rush
Yeah.
rundown. We're gonna do today for a couple of minutes on one topic, but today we're talking about the Little Mermaid. D23 just happened over the weekend with Disney, and there's been some renewed let's call it comments for
Mhm.
the movie since the trailer just dropped. And joining me to do this quick little I'm never, you know what? Not gonna say what I almost said. Forget it. Let me just introduce who's helping me
What
with
were
each
you
other.
gonna say? That's terrible.
Yeah, I almost. I can't say what I almost said. No, it wasn't intended to sound. It's Sarah Catherine the Red, but it wasn't.
Hi.
It wasn't intended to sound the way I was gonna say it. But I was going so fast. I said, joining me today on this quickie rundown, is
Oh
Sarah.
yeah, not that. Nope.
Oh God, that would have been. Oh, wait, I'm pinned to the wrong chair. Let me see if I can get you back on the in the right
Well, I
chair.
don't see I don't see anything at all on my screen.
Yeah, it's all. Oh man, it blanked out. Let's get you back up on the full screen here. There you go. Okay, so there's one camera I can't switch to. So, all right. So, me and Sarah were talking about the Little Mermaid and stuff. This is funny because originally, like last week, we said we were going to try to do a rundown, not on the regular time, but
Mhm.
every time me and her have time to do some reactions and stuff live, um, we could do it, in the middle of our little lunch
Yeah.
from the full time jobs that we do. Where is your camera at,
Are
Sarah?
you sure we're live right now?
It it says we're streaming.
Okay, because I'm on YouTube right now and I don't see us.
Yeah, I'm see. Oh yeah, no, we're streaming. We're streaming.
Okay.
It says we are. It was so fast, it might not have the link up there. We even have
Are you?
somebody in the comment section right now. It's,
Oh
Jay,
my God.
you would probably understand if they did original stories about it. Like, we'll get to your comment a little bit later.
Oh yeah, we'll
Uh,
talk about all of that. Yeah,
but
I'm totally not on the screen.
there you go.
Nope.
But yeah, yeah, you are.
Okay.
You can't see yourself.
I can't. I'm on YouTube right now. All I see is you and a brick wall.
Yeah, I know because it's delayed. You'll see yourself,
Okay.
but you got. But if you look at your but you, is it our what is it called? Our Zoom
Our
thing.
Zoom.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've got a gray
it's
screen.
I got a gray screen on that too. But it's weird, but it is working
Okay.
on the live stream.
I
But
believe you. Just
all
can't
right,
look at myself.
all right. So let's while we fix that, let's just go straight to it. So
Okay.
you sent me a link,
I did.
and this was what, Facebook.
Yeah, this is the
Okay.
Facebook official page for the new movie, the 2023 Little Mermaid. And so
So
that's what this is.
you're talking about where it says "Out of the sea, wish I could be part of the world." Where that's the trailer is, and it's like
Yeah.
28,000 comments. Okay.
So, yeah, and then there's this one section called reviews.
Hmm.
And then you can scroll down there and read some of the reviews. Some of the reviews are scathing. And it's not so much about the movie itself
Hmm.
or like the very little bit of the movie that you can see. It's all about the casting and that the fact that she's not a little white, redheaded, blue-eyed girl in the sea. Really,
Yeah.
that's what it's about.
I'll tell you, anybody that's watching right now, right off the bat. I mean, this isn't one of those channels where it's like, oh, let's just only get on everything that we hate. I'm talking. I put the word hate up there because that's just what they're doing. They're hating. They are haters. I don't care if you don't like training. I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. I mean, because
I think it's crazy. I think if you look at all these different stories and all of these different like movies and things where they've swapped people out in a gender way or
yeah,
they swap people out in a race way, like they have a different aesthetic than maybe the original cartoon or something like that, but yet it has no precedence in the actual story,
if
whether this person is a male or a female or black, white, Asian, mixed race anything
Yeah.
has no precedent to the story. Why care? Did everybody get super pissed off when Brandy played Cinderella back then? I don't remember that.
I mean, if social media existed the way it does today, probably. I mean, but people don't care, and people always.
I loved that version of Cinderella.
And I think there's a reunion coming back too. I think if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But
Whoopi Goldberg's in there.
Whenever people make the comments of, oh, but what if we did it the reverse? What if we turned, what we were saying before the show started, if Mulan was turned into a white person, or if this black character,
I hate to break it to you.
Yeah, have you ever seen Hollywood history?
Look at John Wayne's whole career, and yes, I get it. That's a very old reference.
Yeah. But
John Wayne's whole career, he played Genghis Khan.
Yeah.
Okay, Genghis Khan was an Asian Mongolian man, okay?
Right.
John Wayne's obviously this white Texan.
Right.
It was an alcoholic.
Right.
Obviously, that was a pivotal part of that individual and that character, that the fact that he was Mongolian and he, was Genghis Khan.
Right.
So that's completely different than saying, here's this Ariel, and if you go back to the original text, which you have a TikTok about it, and, they talk about nothing about her being redhead, blue-eyed, and I'm a redheaded, blue-eyed, super pasty pale person, and I am not offended by this at all, even though I will make this point, which is something that we've talked about on the show before. Hollywood likes to replace redheaded characters with anybody else. They do. Tell me that's not true. And I don't care. It's fine. It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't change anything. About the story,
right? Then whenever I look at into these things, and guys, I see your comments, and I'm used to doing this show at night after a long day of prepping, and so I had to kind of put the graphics together real quick. Oh, I see. Okay, we got it popping up on your. Oh wait, if you're I'm looking. See. I'm looking at the delay, and I'm looking at you live right now. I'm like, wait a minute, I see you talking, but you're not saying anything. That's because that's the delay. Okay, my bad. Yeah. But anyway, so I do see your comments. I see it. It's gonna pop up. We're gonna address everything. So if you got something to say, if you're one of the guys that I hate when black people take over a white role, or if you're like, I don't give a damn, who play. I don't care. I'll let you say your piece, but I'm gonna respond accordingly based on how I feel about it. And how I feel about it is basically this: it doesn't fucking matter. I started with one thing. The story. Don't give me comparisons like, well, what if Martin Luther King was played by some white guy or something like that, by Johnny Depp or something like that. Don't give me that, because
and that would be pivotal to that like if you made him into a movie, Martin Luther King couldn't be anything but black because he was
more than that, he was black. How about this? He was real. I mean, I don't care about people's comparisons about or what if Mulan is based on what if we turn Black
Mulan's
Panther into
based on a
real person?
Princess.
What if we turned another black fictional character into a white person? What if we turned the Black Panther into made him played by a white guy? Well, that would go against there's two things I say about this. One, let me start with this. The character is based on a continent in Africa where there are no it is all black people. So that's where the root story is based from. That's a whole different. That's comparing apples to the spaceships.
Well, that and also in the story they talk about them being African American, being actually black.
Yeah.
So it's not like The Little Mermaid where they've never said in the story
what their races are.
You're a little redheaded white lady.
Yeah, in this sea where black people do not exist. I mean,
there were black mermaids in the Disney.
In the Disney version,
What they're comparing this new version to is the Disney cartoon, not the actual story that was written that Disney took and made into.
Well, let's just
many of their stories.
Well, let's just even keep it in the Disney cartoon. Yeah, even in the original movie and in the Disney series, there were black mermaids. Here's the real. This is what the haters of it are really saying. Mm-hmm. The star was white, so she should always, since she's the focal, and she was white, and the creator was white or whatever, and it's Danish or whatever. That she should always. I don't care if they made everybody around her black. But we all know that wouldn't even be true too. Here's another example: the Batman. What was that? That was I forgot his channel, RK, whatever that ass clown's name was. He was like,
Yeah.
he made a video about how he was upset that uh, every positive character in the movie The Batman were all people of color. But
Ooh, I have a good one for you right now.
oh, what you got?
So I don't remember there being a backlash when they made Spider-Man black.
Oh, there was. when
There was?
when Miles Morales, I even have a video about it on the channel, an old video about it. When Miles Morales was first invented, it was like in the early 2000s. That was in the comic books Ultimate Marvel universe, and it was an else world. It wasn't even the main storyline, but it was a world where Miles Morales got those powers. Spider-Man was in his last biggest fight of his life, where I think they figured out his identity. They went to his aunt's house to go to attack and kill him. He had to fight off the Sinister Six by himself. Miles Morales was there. This was after he had his powers, but he's never been in a fight before. He was struggling whether or not he should help or not, but he chose not to. And then Peter died, and he felt so guilty about that. That's why he became Spider-Man. The backlash was that was the first time I ever started noticing these types of backlashes was with Miles Morales. The backlash was like, why do you have to make Peter Parker black instead of just keeping up with the same story? And the response to it was, it's a totally different character. All the stuff that they say today, why don't you just make an original character? Why don't you That's exactly what that was. And it was a totally different character, and it wasn't even the same, the main storyline. It was an Ultimate Spider-Man storyline. It wasn't even the Amazing Spider-Man. It was the third book. And so, but then over time, Miles Morales became popular, and then all of a sudden, I never said anything negative about Miles. It was almost like when Batman was played by Ben Affleck. It was like, this sucks, he sucks. What about Geely? And then when the movie was awesome, people were like, I never said anything bad about Ben. You lie. A lot of people backpedal.
I would go back and say, like, Peter Parker, I can't think of a reason fundamentally why he couldn't have been played by somebody of a different race, like that character in itself. Because what about that character, the fundamentals of that character would make you say only white guy?
You know who else said that?
Who?
Todd McFarlane, the creator of Spawn. He said that in an interview. This was years ago. This is in the 90s. This is what made me a real big Todd McFarlane fan. He said the one thing, when he was working for Marvel, he said the one thing that always used to piss him off was that whenever anybody talks to Peter Parker, they talk to him like he's a good old white boy. And nobody can see his skin. Nobody knows. There's only a few people have seen him lift the mask a little bit. But every person who doesn't know Peter Parker's race would always talk about. So Todd McFarlane said he always wanted to write a story where he would like do some stereotypical stuff where a black mugger was taken on robbing a white guy from Wall Street. He webs the guy up, and then the guy goes, "Oh, I hate those freaking," and then he says whatever, and then Spider-Man pushes the guy against the wall and points to his face and says, "What color do you think I am under this mask?" And then when the Wall Street guy goes, "Ugh," so, but he never got to do. Marvel never let him do it. But
I've never gotten, and this might be my privilege right here, and I'll say that, I've never understood what the big deal was. So I didn't grow up in America either. So I grew up in Germany on a military base.
Okay.
We're all military. There's all sorts of different races of people. There's people from different spouses from different countries and things like that. And we all live together, and we're all military. And anybody from a military background can understand what that's like. I didn't experience racism until I came back to the United States. And I was 15 years old, and I heard people saying, the horrible things that they say, and I was shocked.
Yeah.
And it like, I cried that, like, 15 years old. I'm a sophomore in high school, and I cried. And it was just, I couldn't understand. I couldn't fathom it because I didn't grow up around it, and I never really heard of stuff like that happening.
Right.
And I was obviously in a very sheltered place, being, living on those military bases, being overseas and things like that. And yeah, it was shocking. And stuff like this is shocking to me. Like, you don't have anything better to do than be mad at a pretty little actress who's going to do a phenomenal job at Ariel.
Yeah. And we talked about, like, earlier, I said you wanted to do a story where about how the two races that get interswapped a lot would usually black people and redheads. And I've done. Well, I said the reason why
Yeah.
I don't want to do those stories anymore. And I'll talk about it a little bit right now, real quick. Well, I don't know. We got 5 minutes. I don't know if you want, we can while I rant about this. If you want to reset our Zoom clock because we're down to 6 minutes, or we could probably
Yeah.
wrap this up in 6 minutes. But I'll let you do that if you want to do it. But the reason why I don't do those stories that much anymore, with like the way I used to, is because the whole comparison about because I agree with what you're saying about. I mean, what redheads are what, like 2% of the
Yeah.
of the world, and it is in a minority and whatnot. But the whole comparison with black mannerisms and redhead, the fiery redhead and stuff like that, like it's I know people do it, and that whole I've seen debates like from redheads that have made talk about it in a positive way, and then I've seen people who get redheads who are always offended by being compared to black people. So I
But
was like, you know what?
redheads aren't exclusive to white people.
There,
Red hair is a
is a
mutation in your
mutation.
MCR1 that can occur in any race. The reason why there's a larger amount of redheaded white people is because
Because
of
they
that Celtic Nordic
they
on
kept
the
they
freaking island, man.
yeah
And
they
that's
kept
what it was.
yeah this it's the reason why polar bears exist. I mean,
Yeah.
if
I mean, when Zendaya was MJ,
Mhm.
they dyed her hair red. She looked beautiful.
but
No issue there. She could have been a redhead.
but the polar bear comparison is like when like
Ain't no polar bear.
if the bear let's say like when if two bears were mating and one and they were in that snowy or icy area, and a mutation happened where a bear would have all white or partially white fur. Well, if that bear, or because of his white fur and blending in with that snow, it would survive and get to mate again. If it made it with another bear that had the same hair, eventually that's when then these polar bears would come. They would survive because they
Yeah.
would just keep mating with each other because they blended. It was all. I mean, there's redheads from Africa. There's black redheads. I mean, it's
There's
not.
Asian. There's
It's
all races.
yeah.
It's a genetic mutation. It's not actually naturally found in nature. It's a mutation, and we don't know why it occurs. Actually,
I mean, Mother Nature's
so
always going to try something out new. It's all about if
yeah,
whatever it tries out. If they keep having children and they keep going on, then they're going to last. That's
yeah.
just basically it.
But I mean, the long and short of it, redheads come in all shades,
All all
races,
shapes
and
of
it's all beautiful.
all shapes of mermaid. So,
It's all lovely.
but when I saw that, and I know, like I said, if you want to reset the clock, we can
Yeah, I'll
do
do it
that.
right now.
But when I saw the trailer and I saw the back, I was like, you know what? Maybe we won't get the backlash again because they kind of got it out of their system, and they kind of got out of the system. And let me see, what is it doing here? It's the same. It's the same. I know I know you reset it, but it's not. It didn't reset the clock. I have to end the stream, and then you have to
Okay,
come
well,
back on.
shit.
I'll do it. Sorry about that, guys. So we saw all that backlash when she was first cast, and when she comes back, we're gonna run down some of these comments. What do I want to say here? I said earlier, I don't care about if she can't be black because the guy who made it was white. Well, you know what? The guys who made Superman were Jewish. But do you think they would have? You think Warner Brothers would have let Joel and his friend let Martha and Jonathan Kent be all like Happy Hanukkah and stuff? No, they're like, this is better. Clark Kent, Kal-El is going to land in the home of a Christian white family. Like that's what they're going to do. Or this book is not coming out. They had no choice. I mean, that's the way it was. And then people want to say that because that's the way it was and we can't go back and change it, well, we just never change it. That's not the way the world is, though. Now people are more accepting of opening their mind to see things from different perspectives. And I find it funny, and I wish, let me link Sarah back in real quick. I just find it funny that the same people who will say shit like, I don't see color, instantly see a black girl when they play the little fucking mermaid the second they see it. It's the same people. They go, oh, I don't see color. Why the fuck is that black girl playing a little mermaid though? It's the same people. And I've always found that funny. All right, that's let me get Sarah in here real fast, and I said my piece on that one.
Hey,
Okay, that was when while you were gone. Let me see if I can get your camera back up here. See it?
you've been gone, it's been talking a lot of smack. No, I'm just kidding.
No, what I said was one of the last things I said, and I'll let you have the last word, and then we can go back to those comments. I said one of the things I always found funny is the fact that the same people who say shit like, "Oh, I don't see color, I don't see race," are the same people the very next day would go, "Oh, Black Mermaid."
Yeah.
So that was the last point I made. But go one last thing. What do you want to say before we go back to these comments?
I just want to go back to that redheaded thing, and
Okay.
the reason why I wanted to talk about all the comments and the articles about the redheads being swapped for other races is because they're assuming that redheads can only be white, and that's not true. And that was one of the reasons why I want to talk about it. Just to clear it up, I'm a natural redhead. I am a mutant. There can be mutated people with red hair of all other races, and so saying that you're swapping out redheads for other races is just completely incorrect because redhead's not a race.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, just because it seems like there's more white redheads in in a country here and there and stuff doesn't mean that they don't exist in other places. So we talked about let me get rid of this because I don't know why I keep showing the Zoom meeting thing. I'm trying to go into the comment section. Here we go. So I don't know if you're seeing the same comments, but like for us, once again, watch the movie first, then decide if you like it or not. That was Maria Zamora off of Facebook.
Yeah.
Let's see another comment. Dominique says, I've never watched the original, but I'll definitely be giving this a try. Her voice. I'm like,
yeah, her voice sounds amazing.
I mean, that's never the debate. That's never the debate. It's always the argument's always, well, we gotta stay to the original. All right, let's go back to.
That's not even the original.
It's not even the original
Disney's
book
adaptation.
Well, but then here's their argument. But that's what I saw first. So that's my Ariel.
But
So
I mean, people do that with like the Batman costumes and stuff like that. So I just get it. They're just used to seeing something this one way, and in their mind they're locked in, and they can't accept any change or any other perspective on these one things, and that's sad. Because there's a world of everything, and change is often good. Like, remember that one time that you tried French onion dip and now you love it, but you didn't want to eat it because it smelled funny, and now it's your favorite thing? This is the same thing.
Right.
Just try it. If it's not for you, it's okay. Don't watch it again.
I make a bowl of goat booty and Swiss cheese, and I'm like, ew. But when you try it, goat booty and Swiss cheese.
What is goat? Are you eating goat cheese?
Something stupid that me and my friends used to say in high school. That was an old friend of mine. A friend of mine in high school said that he was ranking on somebody. He's like, "Ew, this tastes like some goat booty and Swiss cheese."
I mean, if you don't like, this is my general thing. Like, if you don't like it, if you don't think you're going to agree with it, then it's just not for you. Just turn away.
Yeah.
And face the thing that you do like. Go watch The Other Little Mermaid some more. It doesn't matter. It's just a movie. This is not going to hurt anybody. It's going to make some little kids feel good. Little Mermaid in the movie. I'm going to watch it.
No. But Sarah, that's wrong. If this movie comes out in 2023, then the original cartoon gets erased. All those DVDs melt. Those old VHSs, they implode. If you go on Disney Plus,
it's in the cloud now.
No, if you
They
go
digitally remastered the original Little Mermaid, and it's in the cloud.
They've digitally put Holly Bailey and put her right. Every time you turn on the cartoon, it's just Holly Bailey's unanimated head, paste on the original cartoon.
It just hurts my heart that there's people that don't have enough going in their life. They feel like they need to be
Same
mad about a TV,
everything.
a show.
Same people, the same
And
people that
I
don't
mean,
see color.
this is coming from somebody on this show. We're talking about people being angry about a show, but it's just like I'm going to read these comments and I'm going to feel sad for these people. I'm not going to be angry for them. I'm going to feel sad for them because they're angry about something that ultimately
That doesn't
it's
even
just
matter.
entertainment. Entertainment. It's not going to change anything in life. This is just a beautiful young woman singing beautiful songs in a beautiful story, and it doesn't have to be anything more than that.
People need to make
Mountains and molehills.
a better argument. If you take away the escape, I don't even know what the right word of it for the scapegoat argument of because the original cartoon was that way. If you take that if you take that argument away from it, if you say play by this, here's the rule that you have to play by.
It wasn't even the original.
Yeah, and it was that's the argument that I would make. I say, okay, I won't talk about the original book if you don't talk about the original cartoon. Now that's the rule. Now we're both that I'll put the rule on that woke person who is okay with that's extra woke that wants to race swap everything, and the person who doesn't want any change. I'm going to take your argument away, and then I'm going to take your woke guy's argument away. We're not going to talk about the book. You're not going to talk about the cartoon. Now,
I hate the labels. I hate the woke, and I hate the conservative, and I hate the all of that.
I do too because it doesn't mean anything really.
It's
anymore.
just a way to label.
It's a
and
talking
categorize
point.
people to point fingers and be mean at
Yeah.
them.
But
that's all this is. It's just pointing fingers and being mean. And I feel so bad for this beautiful actress who's. Oh my gosh! Could you imagine how excited she was when she got this role?
You know
all
what?
people are talking about not the good job that she's going to do, her beautiful voice.
No, it's
her acting. It's all about.
She sucks. No, she sucks because she's black. That's exactly. No, it sucks. It sucks because she's. But here's where I was going with that. Let's play that game.
It makes me feel bad for her.
Let's say you're arguing on if you're trying to get into the mind of the people that don't like her because it's they changed the race. I've taken away the opposition's argument about the original book. But we've taken away your argument about. And I want to say you. I don't mean you, but I mean their argument. Your argument about the cartoon. Now, tell me one good reason why she can't be black. Can't talk about the book, and they won't talk about the book. But you can't talk about the cartoon. Why can't she be black?
I don't think there's a reason.
There is no argument.
The only thing that was really like set in stone in the whole book is that she has a dad. She is a she. There is a man that she falls in love with. There's an evil witch, which is also a female character. I mean, what happens if they make the octopus witch? What race is she? Does anybody care?
Ursula.
What race is Ursula?
You know what?
Who the hell cares?
You know what? You brought up something that I holding on for years. When I was a little kid when I first saw The Little Mermaid. Yeah. And I heard that Ursula was based on like a drag queen, like the mannerisms of a drag queen kind of a personality. That's what she was based on. But I didn't know. I mean, I was what 13 or 14 when that cartoon, or 12 when that cartoon first came out. I wasn't reading about that stuff. There was no internet. When I looked at Ursula, I thought she was based on like a southern black woman, like because there was this one line when Ursula was talking to Ariel. And about with that deal that she was making about taking her voice, and the question was, do I really want to make this deal? And Ursula said, "Well, life's full of tough choices, ain't it?" The way she went, "Ain't it?" I was like that. I was like, is she a black? I always thought she was a black woman. Or I thought she was voiced by a black woman. Then when I
watched it as a kid, that stuff didn't even flow through my mind. I just thought she was a gray squid witch lady.
But that goes into the whole. That goes into the whole, like when you were talking about like maybe from a point of privilege kind of a thing, because there's some people they don't have to think about it. But when you're I mean, because when you're underrepresented as a redhead, I mean, when you see a redhead, you see it. But so it was the same thing with the black community. When I feel like I'm seeing representation, it hits me harder because I've seen a lack of it for so long. So when I see it, it hits me. So and that's what I always thought. So I never looked her up. I never looked up the actress. And then
Yeah.
when I found out the original voice actress passed away, I was like, oh, she is white. And I was like, but that was it. I mean, I'm over 40 years old. I could have been looked that up. I never did.
But that's voice acting.
That's
voice acting.
Yeah.
And if you want to fall down that road, there's tons of voice actors that have voiced characters that are not of their own race, and that's
yeah.
a big thing.
I don't want to. Yeah,
that's a whole nother nutshell.
They're moving forward with all that stuff. Not to get into to that, but my whole thing about representation is that like I saw a TikTok video where this mother who was a black mother, black daughters. She played the trailer for her daughters for the first time. She didn't tell her what they were about to see. She said on the TikTok caption, she said, "My daughters have seen The Little Mermaid, but they didn't know about this movie was about to come out." So she played the trailer, and when the music was playing, they recognized it. Oh, they're making a Little Mermaid movie. Oh, that's cool. It's a live action. That's cool. And the second it panned on Halle Berry, the oldest daughter went, "Oh my gosh, she's black!" She freaked out in excitement. It was I should have, if I'd have had time, I would have played it. But it was hard because, and that's what happens. People, it's like you've already had all these remakes, and these characters with and whatnot. There's been no lack of white representation. The second it was like how many Marvel movies with white male leads did we get before Black Panther came out? The ratio is not even close. But it's like the second one race gets swapped.
Fair.
It's like this.
But all of this stuff. If you're looking at all of these stories, these are all stories that were written in like the 70s and
50s and 30s
80s, and predominantly the people in the news and media during that time were white men.
Yeah. And what they greenlit.
A lot more white male characters, and there's also going to be those scantily clad bimbette kind of ladies as well. And so that's what we're drawing all of this stuff now on, which is sad because we need new stuff that's more modern, and I agree that we need to modernize it, because I don't want to see, like, one of the reasons why I didn't want to see Wonder Woman, because I was worried she's going to be running around in a metal bikini all day, and that bothers me.
I mean, just like she does in the comic book.
Just like she does in the comic book, because the comic book was written by men in the 70s.
It was way earlier than that. Wonder Woman.
I know.
Wonder Woman.
I'm just giving a little bit extra. They kept writing them through the 70s.
Wonder Woman is one of the original the original Trinity. She's the first female. I was shocked to learn the history of Wonder Woman's creation. There's a movie. The guy who plays Gaston in the live action Lion King. What's his name? That guy. You know that actor. I forgot the name of the movie. It's something. The guy's name and his Wonder Women. It's the first time I heard about it was on Hulu. I think I watched it on Hulu. After I did, we'll get back to the comments. Yeah. But I got to recommend this movie to you because I did not know this history.
I definitely want to see it now.
What if I told you that Wonder Woman was created by a college professor back in the, what was it, the 30s, 40s, whatever it was, back in the day. This is like the 30s or the 40s, right? A college professor who, I swear to God, if you were to take him and put him in 2022 New York City, as far as like mentality, would fit right in. This guy was ahead of his time. His wife was also a college professor, college degree, and a very educated woman. They were okay with having like an open type of marriage and a relationship. He taught his students that the way to solve the world's problems was through having men recognize more powerful women.
Okay.
That's what he taught and believed, and that was the purpose of Wonder Woman. It blew my mind. I was like, wait, and Wonder Woman was
But then why did he draw her Like,
You gotta watch the. I'm gonna show. I'm gonna after
okay.
this. I'll send you the link of the movie. But the whole thing with the whips and I mean not whips. The rope and the bondage and stuff. It was based on some stuff. It was about women empowerment. Like imagine going
It
out.
sounded like more like dominatrix
Yeah,
stuff. Like
yes.
if you're describing that to me, and I've never heard of Wonder Woman before, that's what
It
comes to my mind.
basically his mission was, since little boys were the most ones reading most of those books, his mission. Well, I know we're going way off topic, but his goal was, instead of little boys seeing all these muscle men just beating up everything, if little boys got used to seeing powerful women, being with bonding, but tying people up and bondage and this and that, and they got used to the idea of seeing women like that in those roles, then they would grow up being comfortable with the idea of the concept of a powerful woman. Because he made the argument about how all the wars and stuff were all started by men and things like that. But if we listen, it was a whole thing that about like if you're just training your
I mean,
young.
most men were in power, but if you look at like Queen Elizabeth's reign and stuff like that, even though that she was it was like the golden age and stuff, she had many wars and many conquerors as well.
Yeah.
I mean, she built the entire fleet and everything like that, so you can look at that. But majority of men who were monarchs and in power, they're all men.
That was like
People.
his whole social experiment was about training young boys to grow up to be used to the idea of more powerful women. He thought that it would better the world if instead of just boys just seeing boys.
In many countries, in many other countries, I think I hate to say it's a predominantly American issue, but it is. In many other countries, women are in power. You look at New Zealand has their prime minister is female. There's many heads of state. Germany has a female president. If you look at all of these other countries, they're doing the things.
Yeah.
And they have more respect for women and more respect for women in power than, and it's typically an American thing. And again, I'm saying I grew up in an environment where, yes, I was in the military, but I also lived on the economy, and how people treated each other in those countries that I lived in was entirely different and far more equal in a gender way. And in my opinion, also a racial way, because if you're in Germany, you're German first. And yes, you might be other races, and yes, there were still skinheads there, but you were German first. And they hated people that weren't German more than they gave a shit what race there were. And again, I recognize the point that I was a child, and I'm sure there was a lot of things that I didn't get clued into, but I saw what I saw. Mm-hmm. And the fights and the hatred that I saw were more based off of soccer teams and stuff like that than I saw anything else.
Well, there will be a group of people that would argue that Germans did have a lot of hate for certain things that we had.
They did historically before, but that stuff.
Yeah, I like one thing, and I'll get off topic. I'm gonna trail off again. Let me stop because let me go back to the comment section.
Always trail off.
So this YouTuber, and I played a little bit for you, where he broke down the Little Mermaid on TikTok, and he was giving his rebuttal about everybody who's just hating on Ariel just because she was black. And let me double check real quick if you can
She's
hear.
A young woman like that. This has to be horrible for her.
I was about to say earlier that it reminds me a little bit about.
She's a kid, right? She's like not even 20. Right?
Right, probably in her 20s, yeah. In her 20s. I think she's an adult. It reminds me a little bit about The Flash, the girl who's playing Supergirl in the Flash movie. Everybody was excited about Michael Keaton, but because of what Ezra Miller was doing, all the attention is being taken away. So that's
that's just because he's.
Can you hear that? You can still hear that?
Yeah.
All right.
I can hear myself.
You can hear yourself now? Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's listen to this, and then I'll turn that sound off real quick.
Yeah, she's 22. She was born in 2000. what we said.
based off of Chef Leah Chase, a real person. This movie is also entirely rooted in the fact that she is a black woman in 1920s New Orleans. The social commentary there that you might find upon rewatching it is that she's not taken seriously because not only is she a woman in poverty, but she's also black. So what's the difference between those aforementioned characters and Ariel from The Little Mermaid? I say again, Ariel's race contributes fucking nothing. The story isn't changing. The original cartoon isn't going to cease to exist once this movie comes out. You have your Ariel. It's nostalgic for you. Stop being racist and let young black girls grow up with that same nostalgia. Why don't they just make an original character then? Maybe they don't fucking want to. I don't really condone these remakes, but whether you watch it or not is up to you. Here's why.
And that's just the point in the nutshell. And then on the comment section here, it's mostly about people cheering this guy on for what he said. But yeah, it's for the most part though. It's funny how it's when we did our search, we both went through real quick. Went through different worlds. I was like, I for some reason instantly saw all the backlash, and then but the first thing you saw was all the positive stuff.
I saw
your
all
algorithm.
these positive things
Your
that
algorithm
were
is
just
more
like,
positive than my algorithm.
No, my algorithm knows that I'm a happy person, and I like to read happy things, and reading upset things by people that are just angry at something that doesn't really matter just makes my day bad.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. But people are mad. Maybe they're mad that it's a reboot, but guess what? There are far worse reboots, and we haven't even seen this movie to even know if it's bad.
I've heard that the Pinocchio movie is not that well received.
I watched it. And I was disappointed because
I haven't watched it yet.
Number one, spoiler. Can I do a spoiler real fast? It's a small one.
Oh well, you've given the warning, so go ahead.
Okay. So one small spoiler. So in the cartoon, Pinocchio saves all those little kids that were turned into donkeys, right? You remember that?
Right.
He saves them, stops them from being turned into donkeys and sold to the salt mines.
Mm-hmm.
In the Tom Hanks version, it's not his version, but he was in the live action.
Mm-hmm.
They just did not save those children. All those children continued to turn into donkeys. They didn't stop the magician making everybody into little donkeys and selling them in the salt mine. They just was like, oh, we got away. We're moving on. Good luck with that.
Dang.
All those kids, like that was the most disappointing thing. Like if they would have saved those kids, I would have been like, yay, that's great. But they completely like, oh, we got away. And good luck with life, all you little children being stolen from the city and being turned into donkeys.
Isn't that what happened in the original book though, or something like that? I think the original book is darker.
Tale,
it's just like the Little Mermaid. I mean, in the book, her tongue was cut out.
Northern European.
There were horror stories.
Things where they were horror stories meant to frighten your children into not talking to strangers, not going in the woods,
in the original,
not taking candy or food from people.
In the original Little Mermaid book, if I'm not mistaken, there was no happy ending. She didn't.
There was no.
She didn't get with the prince at the end.
None of them were happy ending.
Yeah.
Everybody got murdered, maimed, dismembered,
or
horrible
worse,
things that we're not going to say on here.
Yeah, exactly.
In ways that just would horrify.
Mm-hmm.
And these stories were read to children.
Yeah.
They were taught to children to frighten them into behaving.
Even the nursery rhyme, London Bridge is falling down. If you really read the words, it's really...
Ring Around the Rosie is about the plague.
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
Pocket full of posies, ashes will all fall down. Yeah.
And if
you gotta burn the bodies.
And if I was to really, going back to the Little Mermaid, if I was really to get deep into it, like if I pull that black card, technically what is the '90s version of the Little Mermaid? I could say it's erasing history. I could say it's whitewashing. I could call it all kinds of stuff, but I don't. I just say it's Disney's version. I enjoyed it, and I don't care if they change it. I don't care that Magneto, when he first was invented, did not have the Holocaust history, and then in 1981 they decided to give him the Holocaust history.
That's true.
So I don't care that in 2023 or 2020 or in the
Hollywoodized
I don't. I mean, I feel like that Holocaust history was great for Magneto, but I don't think it makes sense today if you want to have Magneto in our current time. It just can't make sense. He'd be too old. So it's time to change it again. They did it. They did it in '81. 20 years later, they can do it again. So
Yeah.
but people want to hold on to what they like the most. It's like for the reason why I brought up Magneto is because, like I said, that wasn't his original history, but it's the one that people like the most. It fits with the
Yeah.
character so perfectly, so that can never change. You know what else reminds me of that with this Little Mermaid thing? Scarface, Al Pacino's Scarface. Love that movie, right? That's so great. That's
Yeah.
not the original version. The original version was not about Cuban immigrants. It was about It was about an Italian mobster.
You're right.
The
You're right.
original
You're right.
Scarface was about an Italian mob.
He was
With the
Italian.
Italian mob. And when they remake it again, it's going to be about a Mexican cartel because they're updating the story.
Really?
Yeah, because when they update the story to fit with the world that we're going through today, what's going on with
But
in
they
today's
also
time.
do that to fit with the actors that play it.
Well,
too,
I mean, yeah,
a little bit.
art. These movies. When you're making movies and making art, it has to.
Yeah.
For the most part, it's good that you can make a story that will connect with whatever's really going on in the world today. And back in the day, it was not uncommon
It's
that.
just a remake.
Yeah.
Everything changes in a
Yeah.
remake. Don't get your panties in a twist. There's the long and short of our whole thing.
Right.
Right
I mean,
there.
people probably got pissed off when that version of Scarface was made, but when it came out, it instantly became a classic. People probably people are going to be pissed off again when this Little Mermaid comes out. But
we haven't even seen the movie, and people are this angry.
the only difference is that now that we have the internet, things are in your face more, and they can
Yeah.
something can get clicked on instantly so fast. So you can make a mountain out of a molehill a lot easier than you could back in the day. To read all these hate comments, you would have to buy a magazine if they printed it. But now it's like it's
You'd have
always
to call somebody
yeah
and yell at about
yeah.
it.
Now it's always in your face. So now it's
I'm gonna write an angry letter to the editor.
yeah, and that angry letter is gonna live on forever in the internet nowadays. That's the only difference that today. It's just always in your face. But
Don't get your panties in a twist. Have a nice little cup of tea, a little decaf, and just calm down. Watch another movie.
She's not. Yeah,
Change the channel.
she's not.
If you got cable anymore and you're not streaming,
Right. The Little Mermaid
because you old.
it's not real. I mean, don't compare her to Martin Luther King and say that what if he was played
It's a
by Jake
story.
Gyllenhaal.
And this is another movie that has just been rebooted and Hollywoodized in a different way, in a different manner. And they've remade The Little Mermaid before. Just Disney didn't do it. There's other people that have done it in other ways, in other cartoons, and change things around. And there's so many things that are based off The Little Mermaid that are not all little white redheaded ladies, and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's just a movie.
In 50 years, they might make this movie again, and it might be played by a white person. Catwoman has been played by people of multiple races.
Maybe by then, it'll be played by an alien person.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Alien
Once we
from
get
outer space.
from outer space.
The Martians are coming, and they're gonna put them in the movies.
I like what one person said
I
about
don't know.
the Little Mermaid.
I don't care that much about.
One person was like, "Why are you so worried about whether or not about the Little Mermaid's race? Little Mermaid is not black or white. Like Little Mermaid's a
She's
fucking
a
fish.
fish lady.
That's what he said. She's a fucking fish. She's a fish.
And not real. Not
Yeah,
real.
But
Mermaids aren't real.
let's see.
This can't be based off of a real thing.
I don't
real.
I don't have because I think because I clicked off of it they disappeared, so they're not in the comment section anymore. But real quick, Jay, what you were saying earlier was read the comments here. You would probably understand if they did original story about a mermaid from Africa, not change the race. Existent character is just lazy.
But the mermaid wasn't from any country or area or.
I
region.
think if I remember correctly, it was based. The mermaids were based
Atlantis.
on. No, that's the Disney version. That's the Danish or the Disney version.
Okay.
The original history of mermaids was in the Mediterranean Sea. That's where.
Yeah.
That's where the first original mermaid stories were written, and the Mediterranean Sea borders Asia, Europe, and Africa. so, like again, if we want to go through the history of it, there's a lot of actual history that debunks everybody's crybaby claims. All right, moving on. Chris Thornycroft says you can always tell who the races are. You can do a traditional black or Asian character as a white person, but not vice versa. Remember Death Note. You can always do a traditional black or white Asian character as a white person, but not vice versa. You can't do a traditional white person as an Asian person. Is that what you're trying to say? What happened with Death Note? What was the movie Death Note?
I don't know.
I didn't watch it.
Mm-mm.
You can always tell who the racists are. You can do a traditional black or Asian character as a white person. But no, I see what. Okay, I think I see what you're saying. Yeah, like how
I don't see that comment.
they disappear for sometimes, but I still have it saved right here. I see what you're saying. Maybe like with what am I thinking? What's a good example of that? Ghost in the Shell, when Scarlett Johansson played the character that is in the original anime is an Asian character, or when Emma who played
Emma Thompson. It's Emma Stone.
Stone, and she played an
Hawaiian.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, it's like, and the reason why minorities get upset with this is because they're the minority. You can't be. The whole thing about black people can be racist too.
The Hawaiian story she was Hawaiian, and that was pivotal to her character.
And Emma Watts wasn't exactly. Emma Stone was not that. Mm-hmm. And the whole thing about racism, or what people like to call reverse racism. I mean, racism is about power. I'm like, there's no just because things are changing and people are being more acceptance, it's not because black people or redheads are forcing people to in a powerful dynamic, or forcing white people to accept. It's not happening like that. It's that people are now becoming more acceptant to looking at different things like Coco and from Disney's Coco movie, and look, white people have to start accepting and being willing to watch and look at these different things. There's never going to be a situation where a bunch of black people are going to come down and force everybody to change all these races to all these. That power struggle, that power dynamic does not exist. It's not going to happen. I mean, I'm just sorry. There is no. The whole thing about racism is being about power is a true statement. I can go on. I'll go off on another hour rant about why about that. So I won't go there. But at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter.
In the instances with these stories, the race of the character only matters when it's pivotal to the story, and it's actually defined in the actual story. Because it wouldn't matter if somebody, like one of the random background guards, was a man mermaid or a lady mermaid or something like that. Even if they had a couple of lines, would that really matter? No. But you're mad because the main character, who you were used to seeing as a cartoon redheaded white lady, is now a young black woman who also has an amazing voice. And I saw the commercial and I was like, wow, I loved it. And just to say, the earliest recorded history of mermaids was in 1000 BC in Syria, when a goddess turned into a fish. Mm-hmm. And she kept her bottom half a fish and her top half a human, and that's in Syria.
I wonder why we're so fascinated with mermaids. There was an episode of Family Guy that talked about that, where somebody was having like I think Lois was having like a mermaid fantasy, and the person that jumped out of the water was his top half was a fish and his bottom half was a human. And she was like, I don't want to do this. She's like, why not?
Yeah.
Technically, he's like, technically, this, if you want to actually be intimate, this is what you would need.
Make it happen.
And she was like, man, I don't want that.
If you look at like mermaids and like all the legends and stuff, it was all from sailors who had been out to sea, and like if you've been in a desert, sometimes you'll see things with light and heat off of the water or whatever, and they'd see like manatees and dolphins and things like that in the water, and they would basically have like few states where they'd imagine there's something else because they've just been
out
open
there for so long,
water for however long, and so they would end up crashing and stuff like that. And so I mean,
I remember those also.
The original, like a lot of the things about mermaids were that they were luring sailors to their death. So if you look at sirens, they were like aquatic type creatures as well, and half women luring sailors to their doom and death and hitting rocks. I feel like it's just an excuse by these dudes saying these ladies are just trying to murder them on the sea. That's what it seems like.
You want to know my theory here?
I'm just kidding.
You want to know my wild theory? Here's the real wild theory. These guys were on boats with other guys for so long, and just like probably in jail, their urges and stuff had to be satisfied. And they just had to do what they wanted to do with these other, but they couldn't admit that. So they invented mermaids. Oh, I got my rocks off, but it was with a magical half fish, half woman. No, it was with Doug in the cabin and below the deck.
Let's not even go into how that would work. Fish.
Exactly, because I could go there. Last comment that was here was from Y2 Germ. I'm most likely in the small group of people that don't have a problem with it for race, but more of just change. Just like when people threw tantrums when IHOP was IHOB. Yeah, I mean...
Is that real?
Yeah, they changed. It was like a joke for a while. International House of Burgers instead of International House of Pancakes. It's like it was like IHOP was coming for all the burger places by doing burgers for a while. It was just a joke. But
I didn't know that.
But before we go, I'll say, that reminds me of that other YouTuber named Tyrone Magnus. Sometimes I'll watch his stuff, but lately I've been kind of weaning off because his channel, because like ever since he did his whole rant about hating Ms. Marvel and the whole Captain Marvel, the whole Captain Marvel Brie Larson hate stuff and when your audience is all those guys that always love to talk about what they hey, Brie Larson is the worst, this and that, and Disney must have bought those tickets. There's no way that movie made $1 billion. All that bull crap. Then you have to keep catering to that audience. And then when I saw that he had to react to The Little Mermaid, which I knew he did not have a problem with her being played by a black person, but I knew his audience would have a problem. A lot of his audience would. Watching him react to that trailer was so cringy to me. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Tyrone Magnus. You could tell he was tiptoeing so hard because he didn't want to upset his new "I hate woke" stuff audience, but he didn't want to hate on Halle Berry for playing the Little Mermaid. He was trying to word it so I'm like, dude, just be a damn leader. Tell your audience that if they hate on her just because she's black, that they're being fucking ridiculous. And stop trying to cater to them because you want to talk shit about Brie Larson tomorrow. Like they're exactly. Like he wants to have his cake and eat it too. He wants to talk shit.
Yeah. There's more things. There's better things to worry about, like the economy.
Yeah. Right. But that's all right. I'm gonna cut it off there because I know I've held you up on your lunch break for too long. We're gonna get fired. We got to get back to our day job. I got to go pick up the kids from school. But appreciate you guys listening to us do what was supposed to be a quick rant, but you know how we do it.
Nothing but love.
Nothing but love. Like
love and light. Be happy. Spread happiness.
You know what? Here's the bigger controversy. That damn.
If your panties start bunching, just walk away.
Remember this: the crab in The Little Mermaid. That wasn't an authentic Jamaican accent. Let's be mad about that. But no, we gotta go.
You're gonna bring him back. That's the one, Sebastian.
Yeah, there's
who I want to see.
Yeah. Where can
It
people,
flounder.
before we go, where can people find you online before we get cut off?
They're Catherine the Red Instagram.
All right. And guys, you can always reach out to me and see Chris W. Fagan or at T3 Medias.